Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Larry Csonka, and this is episode 68 of the 411 on Wrestling Podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Please make sure to subscribe to the show, share us around on social media, and if you have time, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Joining me today is my co-host, Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good, Larry. How are you?
Operating at about 50% these days. Finding it hard to get a leg up on things, but you
know. That was a good joke.
Got to go with the leg humor every once in a while, man.
Yeah. I'm glad you have a sense of humor about it. Not that I knew you always did, but it's good that when it comes out.
Yeah. Got to keep myself a little sane sometimes, you know. No, I'm doing all right. The girls, on the other hand, over here are just had Hannah home a couple days sick, and Alex was home yesterday sick, and she's still home, and Christy's home sick now. Damn girls going to school, fucking petri dish of disease, man. I'm telling you.
that time of year.
I know. I'm just like they're coming home like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Just stay away a little bit. So it's like, but yeah, I'm just, everything's good otherwise. They're surviving, just the cold and all that bullshit. I'm just like, yeah, don't get me sick, please.
So, get your flu shot, Larry.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't get a flu shot because every time I've gotten a flu shot, I ended up really sick.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm like, fuck that noise. Then the thing is like, Christy, like, the girls all got flu shots. And they're all fucking sick. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm good. But anyway, Jeremy, it's we got wrestling to talk about.
We do. A lot of wrestling to talk about.
That's right. We had another great Wednesday night, and then we got the WarGames and Survivor Series shows coming up. So we will start, as usual, with AEW Dynamite for November 20th, 2019. And we did not mess around. We were pretty much straight to the ring after commentary welcomed us to the show. A little bit of video stuff for Phoenix versus Nick Jackson, and what was Nick Jackson's first singles match since the Best of the Super Juniors in 2015.
Yeah, and I don't remember the 2015 match because that was forever ago, especially in the world of wrestling. But this match ruled. Phoenix, I think I've said it last week. I think I've said it plenty of times. Like, Phoenix can be a major single star for the company, and you know he goes out there and he just delivers every single time out. And as we saw later on, Pentagon's kind of a dork, so let Phoenix shine.
Yeah, he is a little bit of a dork these days. Yeah, this was a great opener. Fucking balls to the wall sprint. I loved it. Great way to kick off a show. And as you kind of just mentioned, I also talked about it. It reinforces the thought that I had that the Lucha Bros are going to be more viable long-term as single players. I mean, they are a great tag team. They can always reunite on and off. But, I mean, you just see Phoenix here, and I don't understand how you couldn't see the guy as a single star. Great match, some innovative stuff, flawless execution at times. There was even actually a point, it's kind of weird to say flawless execution, but Phoenix kind of like slipped and botched on a springboardy deal, but ended up turning it into something perfectly fine. Like, you really wouldn't have noticed unless you were deadly staring at it. So just, yeah, I love this. Phoenix winning obviously made the most sense, and commentary actually spoke about this. I think it was Excalibur talked about how, Phoenix has the advantage because he just wrestled a singles match 23 days ago, and this is nothing new for him. He does it regularly.
I did not to name drop, but I spoke with Phoenix at StarCast, and he says he loves tag team wrestling. He loves singles wrestling. He just loves to wrestle.
Well, I mean, he was only wrestling like 19 times a fucking week for a while.
Yeah. Phoenix is nuts, and I know the spot you're talking about where it looked like it may have been a slip up or a botch, but he's so good that he covered it well. There was some stuff where it's like you could tell it's very like, let me stand here, get in my spot, and wait for you, but like it wasn't super noticeable unless you just pay attention to that stuff like we do. I don't like, and this might sound old man, and I realize that it's I realize it's almost just a dead point. The super kicks and cutters, like Phoenix is hitting cutters on the floor, and then he's hitting more inside, and he's getting like 2 counts or nothing counts out of them. These guys need to talk to Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton and ask them for their secret on how they make their super kicks and cutters so strong, because all these other guys are doing it, and they can't beat anybody with it.
The Young Bucks have joked about that for years. They're like, we need to meet with Shawn and ask him, how do you win with one super kick?
Yeah. I realized at this point, like they turned the Canadian Destroyer into a transition move on a pre-show the other week. So it's again, I know it's old man, but at the same time, like these are good moves that used to be heavily protected, and now it's just like, hey, let's just throw these moves out there like they're nothing.
It's passing you by, old man.
It is. It's like who had the tweet? Might have been Buddy Murphy. It was definitely one of the Revival guys, but I think it was Buddy Murphy as well during the Keith Lee Dijakovic match where they did like the Avalanche Canadian Destroyer and it got like a 2 count, and Revival were like, yeah, it's passed me by.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what's worse, doing a regular Destroyer on the pre-show or the fucking Avalanche one for a near fall?
Yeah,
it's like, it's fucking cool as shit, but I get the point.
Yeah. All right, not to harp on that too much. The match was still awesome. It's just something that sticks to me a little bit.
I hear you. Nothing wrong with that. Next up, Hikaru Shida, my future ex-wife, defeated Dr. Britt Baker. 10 minutes via pin. I thought this was really good. I thought this was honestly Britt Baker's best AEW performance. She looked a lot better and comfortable out there, and I think Hikaru Shida winning was the right call because right now she feels like a more complete performer, and I don't think you want to rush Britt back into a title opportunity. I think you need to build her up and just get her more work and hopefully get her more over heading into a title shot.
I like this match as well. And yeah, Britt Baker, she was hot coming in, and then it cooled a little bit. Like, she already lost to Riho, and I do think that was a misfire on doing that match so early. But now Britt is kind of just there. She's obviously a star. She has a lot of star qualities, and they see a lot in her. But she's already lost to Riho. She lost the Battle Royal. I think a feud with Nyla Rose would be good for her because Nyla hasn't done a damn thing since losing. She's killing people on Dark. Yeah, okay. Nyla hasn't done a damn thing since losing to Riho. So I think that would be good. She dispatched of B. Priestley and everything, but I thought Britt looked, one of her better performances here, and she's good. I like her as well. Her winning was the right call. I'm with you there because there's more to do with her. It's tough to go back to the Britt Baker Riho feud or match right away. So let Shida win and build up that match.
Yeah, so it was good stuff. We then got a Dark Order video package, which was like a propaganda infomercial deal.
This was my favorite thing on the show, and I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's again the kind of stuff that you specifically I know have been asking for these guys, a little something different. Video package to break things up, and yeah, it was cool. I thought it was well done.
Not even a video package to break things up. Like, I wanted a backstory on these guys. I ranted the other week about why is Stewart just back there with his elastical bands pumping iron? Like, why aren't they in a secret lair or something? And now they're fucking Scientologist cults. I cannot wait for this.
Remember, just because you're evil doesn't mean you can't be in shape, okay? Stu needs to get his party pump on.
I love this video package, though. I'm very excited for the Dark Order now. This one video package did more for them than, winning the tournament for a first-round bye in the tournament and all that other stuff. Like, a 1.5 minute video package did way more for them than any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Do more video packages. This is why I say it.
Yep. Next up was the 12-man Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. The last 2 men will face off next week for a super special diamond ring. And we had Adam Page, Chuck Taylor, Kip Sabian, Jimmy Havoc, Jungle Boy, Pentagon, Sunny Kiss, Marcus Studd, Joey Janela, MJF, Orange Cassidy, and the one Billy Gunn, Jeremy.
I was glad it wasn't Tommy Dreamer.
Fuck yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, Billy Gunn is still a fucking brick shithouse. Jesus Christ.
They did the Big Show spot with Billy Gunn, which shows like one, it highlights that the AEW roster is just kind of small because I mean Billy Gunn is obviously a big dude, but in WWE he just looked like a normal guy, like he's the size of The Rock and Austin and Triple H and all these guys. But in AEW he's nowhere near the size of the Big Show. But in AEW like he's doing the Big Show Mark Henry spot where everybody gangs up on him and he just tosses them all aside at once.
Yeah, I
fine. Laughed at that.
I laughed, but I'm fine with it for the fact that I think that would probably be like the Luchasaurus spot, but they didn't want him in here to lose. So I'm okay with that. No, I thought.
Oh yeah, I have no issue with it. I thought it was great. Yeah. It kind of just shows that like I don't care about these wrestlers are really small. Like whatever, they're still awesome. So I thought this was a cool little spot that Billy Gunn was able to do it. It's like you say when like Kazarian and is wrestling like Jungle Boy or Marco Stunt, and Kazarian gets to play like monster, but Kazarian is just like a normal dude. Yeah, like I like when like normal guys can almost play monster because they're up against smaller guys.
So speaking of Pentagon looking like a dork, they were all in the ring getting ready to start, and Phoenix was on the apron with him, and I'm doing air quotes for Phoenix because they were sitting there and they looked all happy, and Phoenix unmasked as Christopher Daniels, that tricky bastard. Duped him again. Do the Lucha Bros like not protect their gear?
Like Pentagon keeps getting his shit stolen. Now Phoenix is getting his mask stolen. I guess Daniel's could have just purchased one, but was it I don't think it was the same mask Phoenix won. Or Phoenix had on earlier. So what?
Well, he changes after his mask, dude.
Okay.
You got stinky mask.
Sure.
You got to change. I will say that. Hang on. I will say that this did work because Phoenix did not come out with him, so it's not like they were talking all the way to the ring. He just like came out before the match started to like give him support, and that was the distraction. So it wasn't like they were standing there for 5 minutes. So at least I will give them that. But yeah, Pentagon kind of dorkified here.
The worst part was like he takes the mask off and they do stand there for like a split second, and Daniels is like, swing at me. Like you can clearly see Christopher Daniels say, like hit me, and Pentagon swings and Daniels ducks and everything. It's like Pentagon forgot that he was supposed to punch this man, or he either forgot that he was supposed to swing, or he looked stupid for swinging because Daniels told him to swing, and then Daniels knew he was going to swing, and then he ducked. Pentagon just looked like such an idiot again.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Billy Gunn's in there looking jacked. Funny part early on, there, everybody's kind of brawling. Sonny Kiss gets some heat and starts running wild, and then starts doing his twerking dance at Billy Gunn, which Billy Gunn appreciated because he is an ass man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Sonny Kiss, though, MJF is an asshole and dumped him. Yeah, that led to they did the roar spot with Billy Gunn where everybody attacked and he roared up and everybody flew away. Got some random stuff going on here. They went to a commercial break, and during that, Janela was eliminated by Shawn Spears.
God.
So that's going to continue as we expected. Billy Gunn ran wild for a little bit. He eventually got tossed, but he looked good though. I mean, dude is a beast. He got tossed when Wardlow came out and caused a distraction. Anyway, broke down, and in the end, it was MJF eliminating Jungle Boy after doing the I'm going to be a heel and hide on the floor spot and tease that the last two guys are in the ring. So it's him and Adam Page next week. Went about 10.5 minutes. I thought it was a actually rare and fun battle royal because a lot of straight battle royals just kind of suck and everybody stands around and does nothing.
It was fun. I could have lived without 300 interference and like there's 12 guys in this match. Janela got eliminated on an interference spot. Pentagon got eliminated on a distraction spot. Billy Gunn got eliminated on a distraction spot. Like that's 3 of 12 already on distraction spots, and 2 people won, so there's only 10 eliminations. So 30% of eliminations were on a distraction spot. There may have been more that I'm just forgetting. And then you had Jimmy Havoc, who was eliminated by being escorted out by security because he was using a staple gun. So
well, no, he did get tossed over the ropes, and then he went insane with stapler.
Oh, whatever. I clearly do not remember that Jimmy Havoc was tossed over the ropes. Yeah, so I could have lived without all the interference and distraction spots in this one. It was a nice way to get a lot of guys on the show and show a lot of guys off and show some personality. And I mean, Hangman and MJF as the final 2 was the right call, but just too many distractions for me. Mainly Sean Spears. Cut him out like entirely.
I agree that it was a little too much, but the thing is too is that they at least used it to try to get people some time and try to advance some stuff. So I mean, I think in that way it was a success. But yeah, fair criticism. Next up was Le Champion Chris Jericho arriving to the ring with Jake Hager. What sucked was he was coming to the ring and they went screen and screen, so there was no sound. And he was backstage like harassing the librarians and shit. And I wanted to see him making fun of everybody.
I watched.
Disappointed at that.
Yeah, I watched the segment they posted online, and he's asking Marco Stunt for ID. I felt bad for Marco Stunt because everyone, not everyone, but most people like Marco Stunt. They find him fun and stuff. You can tell he's very uncomfortable in front of the camera still. Like if he's not in the ring, like wrestling and dancing, like he's not very comfortable. Like even at StarCast when we did interviews with him, like he's very uncomfortable talking to people. And he had to essentially go word for word with Chris Jericho, and he was way out of his element here. And it showed in the video. Like it was very awkward. He didn't quite know what to say. And Jericho didn't truck him completely because Jericho is very willing and giving. But yeah, Marco Stunt just did not look good in this little video package. But it was only online. I don't know how many people actually saw it.
I didn't.
There you go.
So anyway, Jericho made his way to the ring, talked about having an announcement tonight, said he was fined for his actions after last week's main event where he lost, and he went to try to apologize, but he kept having problems apologizing and saying sorry, so every time he wanted to say sorry, he'd have Hager say it, which was kind of funny. He'd be like,
that was great.
I want you to know I'm really, and then Hager would be like, sorry. Like the most fucking monotone shit. And then the best part is like he was totally fucking corpse and trying not to laugh his ass off.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah, Jericho's just so good. Jericho announced next week that he's going to have a special Thanksgiving celebration in Chicago in tribute to him being the champion and being the greatest in history. And that was his big announcement. He was going to leave, but Scorpio Sky and SCU arrived. Sky said it was admirable of Jericho to apologize. And then, it says that he beat him last week, and that led to Jericho's tantrum. He partied all week, and he even set up a date with his old high school crush, which was all due to Jericho. He apologized for embarrassing Jericho, and Jericho said, he's like, your crush put on weight. And, mocked Sky for that. And Scorpio Sky, of course, responded with only one response that he could. He's like, I do like big butts and I cannot lie. So Jericho said Sky isn't in his league because he's the greatest of all time. He'll face him one-on-one. He'll wipe the floor with him. And Daniels is like, no, we need to prepare. He's like, we need a couple weeks or a month for a training camp. And Jericho says it'll be next week as part of his celebration. And then they basically Bugs Bunnied him into giving him a title shot, which I greatly enjoyed. He was like, oh, no, don't make it a title shot. I'm not ready for that. And he's like, no, fine, it's a title shot. So I did laugh. And then Sky said he's been waiting 15 years for an opportunity like this, and next week he will turn Le Champion into Le Bitch. This led to a big brawl. The Inner Circle arrived. They were beating the shit out of everybody, handcuffing everybody. They beat the hell out of Cutler and Nakazawa. Jericho laid out Sky with the Judas effect. Marcus Stunt and Jungle Boy arrived to try to make the save. They failed. And then the Lucha fucking Saurus arrived, Jeremy. Had the big face-off with Jake Hagar, and Jesus Christ, that's the first time I've been really interested to see a Jake Hagar match, I think, in ever. Because I just, got kind of excited about it.
This whole segment was really good. Chris Jericho is... Man, I really can't say enough good things about this guy and just what he's done his whole career, but really this AEW run, everything he's done, I can't think of really a single miss. Maybe the Hangman match, but, And
again, that wasn't bad. It just wasn't what it quite needed to be.
Right, and I don't even blame that on Jericho. They almost killed Hangman going into this match. Yep. That's not Jericho's fault. The work was hard. It's just the crowd didn't quite buy into it as much. Every single promo he's knocked it out of the park, though. He's been amazing during this run. This was another great promo. Scorpio Sky did really well with him. I like the Jedi mind trick that SCU used to get the title shot. I can't wait for that match. I think it's going to be fantastic. And then Luchasaurus looking getting a strong push here. Gonna go up against Hagar, and Hagar backed down because despite having MMA experience, that was the first time Hagar's seen anyone who took a proper fighting stance.
Well, I don't think he's ever seen a dinosaur before.
Maybe. I mean, Hagar's a weird guy. He may have seen a dinosaur in his life. I'm sure he went to the museum once or twice.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, Jericho was really good here again. And the thing, too, is not only was he really good, he played it so well because Jericho is so good that he could have fucking just eaten up Scorpio Sky on the mic here. I mean, Sky was good and did well, but I mean... how many times have we seen a promo where, both guys need to get over, but one guy's so good that whether he means to or not, he ends up just totally devouring the other guy.
This is what I'm saying with, Jericho. He's not looking to truck people on the mic like the Marco Stunt segment. You can tell he was trying to give to Marco Stunt. It's just Marco Stunt he's uncomfortable and awkward on the mic. Jericho was very giving to all of SCU, but particularly Scorpio Sky, because that's who he's feuding with. And Scorpio Sky is far more comfortable and just better on the microphone. Jericho he's not out there to truck anyone on the mic. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it could just happen because one guy is so good and one guy is just not that good, but it's not going to happen if you have someone who is competent on the microphone, and Scorpio Sky is obviously far above competent.
Exactly. So I also like that I like that the baby faces in this company have fucking friends.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, but still, I mean, no, seriously. I mean, it's nice to see, and we'll see it again here a little later on. That led to the Luchasaurus killing Peter Avalon in 30 seconds, exactly what it should have been.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. Next up was Private Party versus Ortiz and Santana in a match that was dedicated to their friend Matt Travis, who was unfortunately killed last week. So probably a very emotional night for these guys. It was Private Party won in 15-20 via pin. I thought it was good overall. Could have been a little bit shorter, and I kind of thought it was missing something. It just, it was good, but it didn't wow me. And wasn't a big fan of Santana and Ortiz losing.
I didn't like that either. And yeah, I guess AEW is trying to essentially say, they try to play it as real sports. And the Ravens are a good football team and they can beat the Seahawks and the Patriots, but then they lose to I don't know who sucks.
Browns.
The Browns, the Falcons aren't good this year. That's how real sports work. The Warriors are great, but they're gonna lose games every now and again. So Private Party can beat Young Bucks, and the Warriors suck this year, but previous years. So Private Party can beat the Bucks and they can beat Santana and Ortiz, but then they lose to Best Friends on AEW Dark, and it's like, okay, but it almost it does create a sense of anybody can win at any time, but it also creates almost a sense of parity, and you don't always need that. Like, just put a team over strong, put a wrestler over strong. It was my same kind of complaint with Pac. Like, just sometimes put guys over strong. Private Party's not going to lose anything. The thing with them is going to be more of a long-term thing. Same with Hangman Page. Like, Proud and Powerful are your top tag team right now. The other thing with this match is, look, I don't know what it is with these referees. Santana completely missed his cue. It's on Santana. He didn't pull the referee's leg when he should have, and so that threw everything off. But if a wrestler misses his cue, then count the pinfall. If they fuck it up, they fuck it up. But if you don't count the pinfall, everyone looks stupid. Like, the ref looked dumb, the announcers looked dumb for trying to defend this and then saying, oh, Ortiz wasn't the legal man. Like, yes, he was the legal man. And if he wasn't the legal man, the referee shouldn't have counted the pinfall in the first place. He shouldn't have gone down for the count. So they look dumb there. Ortiz looks dumb because he's not kicking out. Santana looks dumb because he's missing his cue and stuff. Everyone looked bad in this. So treat it like a shoot. That's what WWE does. Treat it like a shoot. If a guy misses his cue, if a guy forgets to kick out, too damn bad. Like, you fucked up, but at least we see on TV is, it doesn't lead to shit like this or shit like the Pac and Trent match.
Yeah, I agree. That's shit, like, especially because that wasn't super near the finish. That, like, really hurts the flow of a match, too. So... yeah, I was, like, totally fucking confused with what was going on there. I was like, Jesus Christ.
The crowd was completely out of it after that spot. Yeah. And it picked up a little bit near the end because Nick made his run in and everything, but they were totally lost after that spot. And I was too. I was like, okay, I kind of just want this match to end now.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Nick Jackson ran in because the former LAX were going to use the slapjack. He stopped them, and then afterwards, Sammy Guevara arrived and attacked Nick, but Dustin Rhodes made the save, and babyfaces have friends. Yay. Like it.
Yeah.
Next week, it's Paige versus MJF for the Super Special Diamond Ring, Pac versus Omega, Jericho versus Sky, and the return of Cody.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody was, he's gone all week.
I know. Maybe he's actually going to wrestle. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think he'll talk, which is fine.
So we got a Kenny Omega video package. He was working out with Michael Nakazawa and talked about how he was doing things he normally doesn't do. He lost sight of who he is, and it all goes back to losing to Pac it all out. Next week, he gets his chance for revenge and redemption. And I thought this was a good promo. Unfortunately, the only thing people were taking away from it, they were mocking him that he was only lifting like 60 pounds or something that I didn't even pay attention to or give a shit about.
It was a fine promo. I don't like the Kenny Omega, who is like, oh, they say I'm not a promo guy. They say I'm not a hardcore guy. Like, they just say I'm this great wrestler. Like, dude, you named yourself the Best Bout Machine. Like, what do you want us to talk about? Like, you put this on yourself. Like, I don't think Kenny Omega is a fantastic promo guy, but he's been good in AEW. I know Kenny Omega can wrestle a variety of style of matches. Like, we saw the match with Chris Jericho in New Japan. Like, that was completely different than most Kenny Omega matches, and it was good. Like, don't tell me, hey, they say I'm not this, they say I'm not that. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. It just sounds too like self-masturbatory for me. And the weight stuff, that's all I saw anybody. They even mocked it when they put a weight on one side, and then so Omega had trouble lifting that side. And yeah, he was lifting like 55 pounds. Like, do you even lift, bro?
Yeah, it was funny. I just laughed that was everybody's like really big takeaway from this. But what are you going to do? So that leads us to our main event of the evening, which was Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin, and they freaked me out a little bit, and because they did the TV time remaining gimmick, and man, they pushed it right until the end, time wise there. But yeah, Darby Allin came out. He was carried out in a body bag that said Mox on it. Then he skateboarded down to the ring. And we started off with a big brawl, and then we pretty much had 11 minutes of crazy Jon Moxley, Darby Allin action, which I thought was really great. They pushed it up right to the end of the hour. Jon Moxley picks up the win. Had to break out the Avalanche Death Rider off the ropes to do so. I thought this was pretty fucking great. I mean, they worked in the style that they needed to showcase both guys. I think Moxley has been great. He continues to roll with the win. Allin gave him more than a fight that he probably expected, and Allin continues to thrive. He's this kind of great combination of, like, he's an underdog babyface, Mikey Whipwreck, Jeff Hardy Daredevil kind of guy that, like, really feels odd but works at the same time for him, and I really dig it. And he's over.
I love Darby Allin. His suicide dive on Moxley to start this match was awesome.
1,000 miles an hour, dude.
Yeah, Moxley just beating the shit out of him. Allin was getting in some hope spots to look strong and stuff. You know, it did take the Avalanche paradigm shift, which looked like it sucked and killed him. He put him in the body bag before all this, and yeah, Moxley winning, right call. And Moxley's been fantastic in AEW, and Darby Allin is definitely like an underdog, underground kind of star that you can. He's going to appeal to a very specific demographic, like multiple demographics, honestly, and it's going to. Yeah, he's going to be a star. He hits a lot of the target audience for AEW, which is kind of that rebel, rally, almost cult-like audience. So I think I shouldn't say cult, social outcast kind of audience. Like that's what AEW presents itself, and that's their rallying cry. And like Darby Allin is almost the face of that, just with how he comes off and how he presents himself and how he looks. So I think I want Darby Allin in the Dark Order. Maybe that's a little, I don't know if that's a downgrade, but yeah, I love this match, and Moxley winning was the right call, and they can do it again in a lights out match.
Yeah, in like 3 years, because we don't need to see another lights out match, Jeremy. Come on.
We don't, but yeah, we really don't. But Moxley might want to murder somebody in the next couple of months. So,
I mean, he might, because he is kind of insane. So, but that is AEW for the week. We'll talk about the overall kind of deal and the back and forth here at the end. But we move on to NXT, Jeremy, for the same date. At the end of Raw, NXT stood tall, and Triple H basically said, "Watch NXT Wednesday night. Main roster people will be there." He said there would be an open door, but I mean, basically that's what he said. He's like, "Please watch NXT Wednesday night."
Yeah, they got a big boost from a little bit on SmackDown, but definitely on Raw they got a big boost of promotion.
Exactly. So, and speaking of special guests, we started off with Becky Lynch arriving, walking in like she owned a fucking place, and yeah, she came out and talked about it. It's been a long time since she kicked ass at Full Sail. Said things were about to change. She was coming without Triple H's invitation. Said Bayley's crying like a teen with an old lady haircut. Says Sasha's a blue-haired Bayley buddy. Shayna Baszler, she was here to remind her who she is, called her out. But she did not get Shayna Baszler, Jeremy. She got Rhea Ripley. We got Rhea's Gonna Kill You chance, and Rhea said she wanted to see if the man had a set of balls, and we got us a match.
Yeah, I mean, Becky's awesome. She did walk in like she owned the place, and that's she should. And then it's amazing to see like just how far Becky has come through all of this, because I mean she was never NXT Women's Champion, was she?
Nope.
Yeah, so like, Charlotte to Sasha, Bailey, they all got their runs, and Becky never did. She was always kind of. I know Bailey didn't get the call up as quick as Charlotte and Sasha, but Becky was still, for lack of a better term, the redheaded stepchild of the four horsewomen who just never got that shine in NXT, and here she is, the biggest star of all four of them, main eventing and winning a WrestleMania, the fucking man, and she comes in, like, she presents herself well, and Rhea Ripley held her own on the mic and in the match. So Rhea Ripley, I mean, she's only like 23. She's going to be a big star as well, as long as they don't completely shackle her.
Exactly. So yeah, that led us to a match. It went to a no contest double DQ at 9:30 when Shayna and her little pals arrived. They got sent packing afterwards, and the match was good, even with the expected non-finish, because it was ahead of the pay-per-view, so I didn't expect either one of them to lose. I do want to see a eventual rematch down the line, because I think there's a lot more they can do, and kind of backing up what you said, unless they fuck it up, Rhea Ripley is going to be a huge star.
I understand why they did the non-finish. My issue with it is they did this 3 times on Raw, where they had a distraction finish or just some type of not a distraction, like just a non-finish. What were the matches? McIntyre and Owens and Triple H coming out.
That just ended. Because Triple H arrived and he's better than everything.
Right. The main event, I don't remember what the main event was, but that match had a non-finish. And then there was another match on the show.
Survivor Series week booking, man.
Yeah, and like this was another one, just non-finish. It's like, okay, can we get something? Like, I understand you don't want to beat either of these women, but if Becky wins, like, she's the fucking champion. It's okay if she wins, and if you don't want to beat either of these women, don't book the match. Do something different. But they didn't. What can you do? Then we had the big Survivor Series brawl type thing, which they always do, which it was good. I mean, it was fine. Becky and Rhea are awesome.
Matt Riddle was going to face Kona Reeves, but thankfully Ricochet is awesome and flew out and drop kicked his fucking face off. And that led to Matt Riddle versus Ricochet. They went 350. Matt Riddle won via pin, and I'll tell you what, like, Cesaro and Nakamura came out towards the end. They fought them off, and this was probably as good of sub 4 minute match as you're gonna see. Threw everything at the wall, and the only thing that sucked about this is, like, I wrote in my review, this was some of that, like, just the tip bullshit. Like, I need a fucking full-on 12 to 15 minute match between these guys. Because I want more after seeing that.
Yeah, it was definitely way too short, but for as short as it was still awesome. I'm glad. I really thought we were going to get another non-finish. I'm not, like, a distraction finish isn't much better, but at least somebody won. But yeah, I'd kill to see Ricochet and Matt Riddle in a 15-minute match just at some point down the line. I think we'll see. I mean, it won't be a 15-minute match, but we'll see some interactions with them at Survivor Series. I'm willing to guess.
I would guess so. But yeah, they ran off Nakamura and Cesaro post-match. Roderick Strong arrived, attacked Riddle. He made the comeback, but Finn Balor arrived, and just big brawl, which came off really well, I thought, afterwards. Crowd was into it.
Yeah, it was Survivor Series stuff, and it was good. And I like that Balor doesn't give a shit about this brand supremacy. He's just out to kill Matt Riddle.
Exactly. We then got a video package hyping the Killian Dane, Damian Priest, Pete Dunne match at TakeOver, with the winner facing Adam Cole the next night at Survivor Series for the NXT Championship. And that led to our big tag team match, Jeremy. Undisputed Era defeating the Revival at 25 minutes. Your thoughts first.
I mean, they gave Revival an Undisputed Era 25 minutes. It's tough to fuck that up. You give these two teams that much time. especially at Full Sail, where Undisputed Era are treated very well. Revival got a hero's welcome return. You know, they chanted "Please don't go" after. Like these guys are treated well at Full Sail. Crowd was into it. Revival had to work a babyface kind of style, which was a little bit different for them, but they pulled it off well. And yeah, the match was great. Like it's tough to say much more than that. The match was fucking awesome because it's undisputed. Like, this is what the Revival can do. We know they can do this. They just never get a chance to do this on the main roster, but this is what they can do.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely great match. Undisputed Era continues to show why they're one of the best tag teams in the world. They worked so well together. A lot of the match, I felt it came off like effortless in terms of execution because everybody's so good. It went 25. It never felt long. And, you know, don't let I see a lot of people these days down on the Revival, and it's because of their shit main roster booking. But don't let that cloud your judgment because these guys are still really fucking great and will deliver, like, tremendous stuff if they can get more than 10 minutes of TV time in a match. They fell completely back into their element here because, you know, like Jeremy said, the NXT crowd was just loving these guys. They wanted them to stay. Seriously, they did not want them to go. And I love that they stepped out of their comfort zone and did play the kind of de facto baby faces here, and they did it really well. And I thought that added to the success of the match. So basically, you like the Phoenix and Nick Jackson match, you need to make time and see this match.
For sure. Those two matches were, I mean, the Darby and Moxley match was great as well. But this was definitely the best match on NXT. And yeah, like, I'm with you on the Revival. They're really good, and maybe they can go back to NXT because they ain't getting 25 minutes on the main roster.
I have a great idea to make room for them. We could just release the Forgotten Sons.
What are you talking about? The Forgotten Sons had a banger against the Viking Raiders.
Had a good match. Let's not get over fucking Raiders. So we see a bunch of Raw talent arriving backstage. We got a great War Games video package for the Women's War Games match. That led to Kylie Ray defeating Dakota Kai in just under 6 minutes via pin. Thought it was a pretty good match overall and a nice featured match ahead of Saturday's show for Kaylee Ray, who hasn't been on NXT proper a lot.
Yeah, it was good for Kaylee Ray, and it was... I don't know if you saw Bailey's tweet, but she was like, why aren't you in this match at Survivor Series? I laughed at that because, yeah, NXT UK isn't the fourth brand. They're just kind of, I don't know, they exist in some capacity.
They're NXB.
I guess. Yeah. But yeah, a good showcase for Kaylee Ray, who, for fans who don't watch NXT UK, which is seemingly everybody. And yeah, good match.
How dare you, good sir?
Dude, you watch it like weekly. I'm caught up amazingly. I don't know.
It's me and Ian Hamilton weekly.
I don't know what's actually going on, but I'm caught up with it. Again, Joseph Connors is bitching about something, or Joe Coffey. I can't tell any of these guys apart.
Joseph Connors is fucking like getting wins for some reason, and then this fucker's trying to sell a I'm Takeover worthy shirt, and I'm just like, go fuck off, dude. Nobody likes you. Anyway,
I can't tell any of these guys apart.
Well, Joseph Connors is the dude with long hair that looks constipated when he's trying to be a heel. I don't know if that helps, but that's how I describe it. Anyway, after the match, we got a big Survivor Series angle with Carmella, Dana Brooke, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose attacking Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair, Tegan Nox, Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Sarah Logan, Kairi Sane, and others all joined in. Kairi Sane hit a insane elbow on Tegan Nox after a headbutt. She had a face-off with Io, and now that they're both evil, I kind of want to see that match again. And Sarah Logan broke it up, and then Nikki Cross arrived and attacked with trash can lid shots.
Yeah, more brand supremacy warfare.
Exactly. I thought it came off well, though. It was again, it was fun.
It was. Some people got good reactions, and Nikki Bella made her return.
Yeah, Kairi Sane kind of had the Nikki Bella thing going on with the backwards red hat and everything. I will say that someone's going to accuse me of being a horrible person here, but this segment was not only good for the Survivor Series build, but if you're a man, you probably enjoyed the hell out of this because there was a lot of tight black pants in this segment.
Yeah.
So, not going to lie. Everybody looking good in various ways. Next up, the Viking Raiders, Jeremy, defeated your favorite tag team in the world, the Forgotten Sons. 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Your thoughts?
It was fine. Why was it 12 minutes? Like, Viking Raiders should have squashed these guys. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the same thing with Joseph Connors. Like, NXT just has a fetish with just certain guys who clearly don't have it, and even they don't have it, and they don't need to be used in this capacity. And Forgotten Sons are, I like on Raw, Triple H is like pitching Kevin Owens, come to NXT, and the fucking Forgotten Sons are there, and Owens is probably like, the hell would I want to join these geeks for? Like, where's Riddle and all these guys?
Doesn't mean I have to stand with these assholes.
Yeah, like where's the talented guys? Sorry, Forgotten Sons. Yeah, it just. They're not going to happen. They don't need to happen. Just let them go.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but a little long. And the reason it went long is because you had to do all the cliche heel bullshit with Ricker on the floor before he got kicked out. It's like, shorten this up. It's actually a better match, and everybody looks better. But I thought the Viking Raiders should have won quicker as well.
Definitely.
We got a video package hyping up Saturday's WarGames match, which led to the main event, Jeremy, a ladder match for the advantage in WarGames. Adam Cole defeating Dominic Dijakovic. I keep wanting to call him Donovan because of fucking years of calling him that. Anyway, he beat Dijakovic 10 and a half minutes. Your thoughts?
It was good. It was a little short for like a ladder match, but it was still good. I like the finish because I'm a fan of two guys just kind of battling and then one guy getting smashed in the head with whatever is up there to be smashed in the head with. So it was good. Adam Cole, I'm glad it was short. I don't know why Adam Cole is wrestling these matches. He's got this ladder match and then he's got the WarGames match. He's got a fractured wrist. Give this man a break. I saw somebody had a good tweet of like Undisputed Era, Undisputed Era. They have poor leadership because they would never send their actual leader to do this match with a fractured wrist. Somebody else needs to step up. Like, where were you at, Roddy? Prove your worth to this team. So good match though. Just too short to really like hit home as far as a ladder match goes.
Yeah, I thought it was good. One-on-one ladder matches can be really tricky and hard to pull off. I thought they told a fine story. Had a good main event, but yeah, I just a little questionable having Cole in there again because that's such a crazy schedule with this weekend coming up and him still being injured. And that led to the big post-match go-home Survivor Series brawl stuff. Undisputed Era came out to celebrate. They were surrounded by Raw and SmackDown troops. Everybody brawled. More NXT guys arrived. Drew McIntyre, somehow this big motherfucker sneaks in the ring. Seriously, he's not a fucking squirrel. How does Drew McIntyre just like kind of wander out there with nobody really noticing and Claymore Dijakovic's fucking face off, which was awesome. He got cut off with a Keith Lee Spirit Bomb. Ivar came in. They faced off. Then they hit big dives. Adam Cole was left alone. He posed, and then Seth Rollins came out and hit him with a super kick, and he got fucking chance of like Seth's not cool because everybody hates Seth Rollins now, which is funny. Ciampa's music hits. He makes his way out towards Rollins, but he stops at the steps and takes out Cole with a running knee. He hit the ring, and then they had the big brawl with Rollins to close the show.
I like that when Ciampa came out, he decided to hit Cole first. Like another guy, he cares more about war than brand supremacy. Ciampa came off like a big star here. Rollins, maybe he thought he was gonna. I don't know what they expected Seth Rollins to get, but it's Yeah, if he can't even get a pop from Full Sail, I guess he didn't wrestle much in Full Sail, but it was the first NXT champion.
But you would think that crowd that is designed to, for lack of a better word, that crowd likes like the work ratey guys, and you would think that on the surface they would like Seth a lot, but Seth has been like a fucking geek for a while now, so.
They like the work rate guys, but they also like cool guys. And Seth, like, I actually think they'd kind of pop for Roman Reigns, and then they'd boo him once they get over, like, oh, this is Roman Reigns, we don't like him. But with Rollins, like, he's tarnished things so much, through his own social media and just through booking, that it's tough to get a pop for this guy right now. And yeah, I thought the closer was kind of cold. Like, the crowd really wasn't going crazy for this Ciampa and Seth Rollins brawl, at least not as much as you would have hoped for. I don't know if they were waiting for somebody else to come out, because there were reports that Roman Reigns was likely for the show, and that obviously didn't happen. Like, SmackDown didn't have a big representative in this closing show brawl here, so I don't know if they were waiting for somebody else or what it was, but the crowd wasn't as hot as you would hope for this Seth Rollins and Ciampa brawl.
I do like when all the sleuths during the day start posting stuff. They start throwing stuff out like, oh, so-and-so is going to be there, and then they make this like big list of people who's going to be there, and then like one of the 8 shows up, which is always funny. It's like, yeah, good job. I could fucking make a guess on who's going to be there too, and I might have even hit 50%, but Jesus.
Yeah, if you're going to guess that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman and those guys are going to be there, then when you're throwing out names like that, you better be right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of funny when everybody
Alvarez.
Is that who it was? I didn't even remember who the hell it was. The usual suspects out there always post their list and post the big scoops.
Yeah, Alvarez was the one who said Reigns, Strowman, Ali, Shorty G, pretty much all of Team SmackDown. And then he said like Montez Ford, but not Angelo Dawkins. And I think it was, I don't remember seeing Angelo Dawkins. I know Montez Ford was definitely there, and they got the big
Ryder was unexpectedly there.
Zack Ryder was Bring Your Fiance to Work Day.
Yeah, well, there you go, yeah. That's how he got in the building, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's just funny stuff, dude. Have they even fucking announced, I know we're going to do Survivor Series in a little bit. Have they announced who the fucking NXT teams are?
No.
Of course not, yeah. That's going to make writing a preview really fucking fun.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, WWE. Oh, so what the fuck? Okay. Are you excited, by the way, before we go into head-to-head, are you excited for Tito versus Alberto coming up?
When is that? That's like, I don't even know when it is, but yeah.
The 7th.
Oh, okay. So it's a couple weeks away. Yeah, I'm excited, but it's still 2 weeks away. I don't get excited for things until like the week of.
Fair enough. I was just curious, So, and now, Jeremy, kind of the head-to-head overall. Go to you first. What are you thinking this week?
I liked AEW a little bit better. Both great shows. I'm torn. I do think that Undisputed Era and Revival was the best match. I do think that Chris Jericho Scorpio Sky was the best segment, but overall, I just enjoyed Dynamite a little bit better. I thought the closing was stronger with Moxley and Allen compared to Seth Rollins and Ciampa kind of brawling to no real reaction. So I think that's what sort of leans me towards Dynamite is one had a super strong hot closer, and the other one the closing, like the last visual and audio that you heard and saw were kind of cold. So I think that's why I'm slightly leaning Dynamite, but it's again another thing of it's inches, centimeters even on which show is better. They were both great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed both shows. NXT, WWE kind of unloaded the arsenal. They told you Monday night, we're going to have a bunch of cool main roster people there. Please watch NXT Wednesday night. And they put them on there, and that's fine, because that's their ability to do so. They own everybody, And I thought that they put on a really great show. I thought that they served a lot of masters in building the WarGames and Survivor Series. I thought AEW was a great show. I thought it had better wrestling overall, and you had the really great Chris Jericho segment. So I score-wise, I think I went the same on my reviews, but I give AEW the edge. I found it just a slightly better show with the better wrestling, which always kind of appeals to me. But again, you can't go wrong with either show. A really strong 4 hours of of action as usual on Wednesday night, which has just continued to be a blast every week, Jeremy.
Yeah. Ratings. We talked about this last week, and the gap was much wider than I thought it was going to be last week after it was so close 2 weeks ago. I said last week, like, if NXT is going to win, this would be the week, because they would get the SmackDown boost a little bit. They would definitely get the Raw boost, and they did on both shows. They got some promotion on SmackDown. They got big promotion on Raw. They advertised They didn't advertise Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch until they advertised Becky like minutes before they went on the air, but they did advertise the Revival. They did advertise basically anybody could show up. So, it's the go home NXT show for Survivor Series. Does NXT win this week?
I think if they have a chance, it is this week. I'm not convinced they are going to win, because they were down significantly again last week. But again, if this is the week for them to do it, it has to be. The question is this, though, Jeremy. If they don't, what does the company kind of think and do about that? Because, you basically made the big play Monday night. Triple H basically said, listen, guys, we're building the Survivor Series and WarGames. We're going to have another really good show like we always do Wednesday night, but we're going to have a bunch of other really fucking cool people here. Maybe some of you 2.3 million people can transfer over and help out the 670,000 watching NXT and help a brother out this week.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win, and I don't know why, other than AEW just feels hotter. And yeah, if WWE doesn't win, I'm not sure what else they can do outside of bring out the big dog mascot, because he's clearly ratings.
I guess. Seriously, I don't know what you do if you after. Because, again, like you said, on SmackDown, they give the NXT people time. They give NXT people time on Monday. You had all the angles. And then you had the big Triple H thing at the end there, basically saying, hey, I promise you we're going to have cool shit on this show.
Yeah. We'll see in a few hours who ends up. By the time people listening to this, the ratings might be out. But I don't think... I think AEW wins slightly. It's definitely going to be slightly. I don't think it's going to... I think they win the demo. I think they win the demo by a fairly good margin. And I think they win the viewership slightly. And even if they lose the viewership, I still think they win the demo. Yeah.
Probably. I just... it's hard to tell. I think that AEW probably wins, because they had a nice rebound last week and everything, and were... they were up significantly comparatively, and I don't know if there was a reason for them to necessarily lose a lot of viewers this week. And, NXT definitely had a reason to gain, so, I don't know. I think AEW would have to see a pretty decent drop for NXT to win. And if it does, then that's just going to be the inconsistency of the AEW audience, to where they're just not getting people. But they did announce, they announced a lot of stuff last week for this week, including the Jericho announcement and stuff. And I just, I think you're probably right in that it'll be close, but I think they win. I'm going to be fascinated to see, though, just because again, you kind of empty the holsters. I mean, granted, you didn't have like Roman on and stuff, but I mean, you basically told everybody we're gonna have cool people on, please watch, and they delivered on that, and it was a great show.
I mean, you didn't have Roman, but you had Seth, and Seth has been
and you had
presented.
Becky.
Yeah, you had Becky, who, I mean, she might be the top star in the company. Seth has been presented as one of the top stars in the company, whether he's a draw or not. I'm going to laugh if AEW wins and Seth Rollins gets beat by AEW.
Oh, I just want to see the fucking Twitter meltdown.
I'm really going to laugh if that happens. Seth Rollins went there and they can claim it was unadvertised, whatever, and he still got beat too. He got beat by Kenny Omega lifting 55 pounds.
Remember, Jeremy, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Until we want to decide to throw 800 main roster guys on NXT.
Brock's going to be on there in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Coming to you live from Full Sail next week, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, everybody.
That's their next shot. They're going to bring in Rock is down at the PC every now and again, working with his daughter. They're gonna bring him out for a show.
Dwayne, can we bother you for 5 minutes at 8 o'clock? It'll just be like on SmackDown. We'll even bring Corbin down for you to bury again. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to be very fascinated by the ratings this week. So Jeremy, we have 2 big shows this weekend, and it is a loaded weekend, and kind of excited for it. Lots of good stuff. We start off with NXT TakeOver WarGames 2019. We're in Chicago this weekend, and we start off with Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle, Jeremy.
Gonna be awesome. Matt Riddle's awesome. Finn Balor's awesome, especially heel persona Finn Balor. I imagine Finn Balor wins. I don't think you could beat him his first NXT match back. I think that would be a huge misfire. But yeah, match, it should get time. All these matches should get time because there's only 4 announced matches for the card. And obviously the WarGames matches are going to go pretty long, but it's their network. They can go as long as they fucking want. The match should be great though. And Balor, I can't imagine Finn Balor losing this match.
Yeah, I think as we all know, this was supposed to be Balor versus Gargano, but injury issues took Gargano out of it. But they thankfully transitioned to a really good feud with Riddle, and like Jeremy said, highly looking forward to this match. Should be great, no reason it shouldn't be. I think the reason I'm really excited for this is, the end game is going to be Balor versus Gargano down the line still, but this is Balor's NXT return match. So he's going to be fucking fired up. He's wanted to work here, return to NXT. He wants to feel important and used again. And the thing is that he's going to be really motivated to deliver. And then look back a couple weeks ago when they did that match with the OC versus Riddle, Ciampa, and Lee. And AJ Styles was in there working with Matt Riddle. And felt like totally rejuvenated and was working like harder than I had seen him work in months, and gave AJ some of that fire back that he'd been missing. And I think he's going to do the same for Balor here. Should be a fucking banger. Highly looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add. It's going to be great.
All right, cool. Next up, we have a number 1 contenders match. The winner will get a title shot at Adam Cole during Survivor Series. It is Killian Dane, Pete Dunne, and Damian Priest, which is the 3-way that they have been building to for the past couple weeks, Jeremy.
Should be another good match. Sorry, I haven't eaten anything all day.
That's all right.
Should be another great match. Killian Dane, I'm not like super high on. Like he's fine, but I'm not super high on him. Damian Priest and Pete Dunne are really good, really fun. Their feud has been good. The match has a backstory to it, which is good. It's not just like a thrown together triple threat for a title shot. The one thing is, it's the winner's going to be on Survivor Series facing Adam Cole. So I feel like that almost just eliminates Killian Dane from winning this match because I don't think you're putting Adam Cole versus Killian Dane on fucking Survivor Series. Damian Priest, they could try to make him both in this match and then at Survivor Series into an even bigger deal. Pete Dunne feels like the guy who's going to win this match because Dunne and Cole, you can do a lot with at Survivor Series. It is weird that this, the winner of this match is going to be on Survivor Series though, because you wouldn't think Adam Cole, or you wouldn't think like Pete Dunne, Damian Priest, Killian Dane, like they're on a WWE, big pay-per-view like that, challenging for a championship, but they're going to be there, and I think Pete Dunne makes the most sense to win.
Yeah, it's a late addition to the card, but I like it. I'm glad they kind of pulled it off TV and moved it to this. I've enjoyed the Dunne and Damian Priest matches. They're really good. Killian Dane has been working really hard since coming back to NXT. I think he's going to be out to show that he belongs in this match. And then, like, kind of breaking down who I think is going to win is, like, Dane just doesn't work right now for me and just doesn't really make sense. He's the kind of guy that I think you can get away with giving a title shot on TV to, but as you said, kind of not Survivor Series. Damian Priest, I mean, obviously I'd love to see him get a shot. He's awesome and he's not getting any younger, but I also feel that you can tell a better story with him down the line facing a face champion. So I don't know if I'd want to burn him and have him lose a title match. Dunne feels like the safe call, but I'm also kind of concerned with hot-shotting him into a title match because it kind of feels like a throwaway attraction title match type of thing. Like, it's not really important, and, like, I don't know if you want to burn Pete Dunne getting a title match just because it's Survivor Series, but at the same time, he is the guy that delivers the best in big match experience stuff, and him and Cole will probably be fucking awesome if they get the time, and they don't need like 30 minutes. Just give them 15 fucking minutes because that Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate match that from a couple years ago that I absolutely loved in Chicago and gave 5 stars to was like just under 16 minutes, I think. So they don't need 30 or anything. So yeah, I'll probably go with Pete Dunne here as well. And next up, we are going to go to the War Games match, the first one with the ladies. Rhea Ripley versus Tegan Nox, Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, facing off with Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kaylee Ray. Since NXT moved to the USA Network, I think the top portion of the NXT women's division has been the most consistently booked and overall best parts on the show. And the funny thing about this match is that, like, it kind of snuck up on me in a good way. All the early builds seemed to be for the men's War Games and for whoever was going to challenge Shayna next. And then it just kind of broke down and got real. The women's War Games movement started, and the thing was, I think it was kind of masterfully done because on the surface, it kind of felt like it was out of nowhere. But if you go back to week 1 of NXT on the USA Network, the build was kind of there all along. They just weren't hitting you over the head with it, and they weren't doing that, oh my god, this is going to lead to the first ever women's War Games match that is totally going to be historic, rah, women's revolution for life, it's good fucking shit, pal. They just fucking let it happen. And that's why I think people are so excited for it, because there are 8 talented women in here. They're all really good. They've built to it well. They did a lot of good stuff with that Dakota Kai portion and kind of teasing a heel turn with her being depressed about not getting in it, only for it to be Kaylee Ray. So they've done a lot of great stuff here. I think the talent is here for them to have a great match. I worry about it with both War Games matches. I worry about them going a little too long, because I think it was last year it went kind of really long and kind of felt long by the end. But I definitely think this has a chance to be great. You can build feuds coming out of it, and I obviously think that Rhea's team winning and heating her up for the eventual title match with Shayna makes the most sense. So I'm going with Team Ripley here as Jeremy makes a bunch of background noise.
Sorry. I was getting comfortable. Yeah, I think Team Ripley wins as well for the same reasons you mentioned. You heat up Ripley to finally take the title off of Shayna Baszler. Somebody has to conquer Baszler. Ripley seems like by far the best option to do it because it feels like everyone else has failed. And then you can maybe create dissension in Baszler's camp with, the horsewomen stuff. Why weren't they picked? The heels should be. The heels should lose this match because Baszler's the champion, and this is not like a united heel team like Undisputed Era where, all right, everyone understands Cole's the champion, but we're also all champions and we're all friends. Like, this is just a thrown together heel team where, you've got Baszler. Everyone should be going after the title, not trying to be buddy-buddy with Shayna Baszler. So I think that's why Team Ripley, along with just heating Ripley up even more, should also win this match. Match, once again, should be great. It's rare just to have a bad takeover match. I'm with you on possibly going long because that could be an issue with War Games stuff, but I think they'll book this one well, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, and so then the last match on TakeOver is the Men's War Games match with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly facing off with Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and a mystery man, which is apparently going to be revealed the night of the show as a big surprise.
Who's it going to be?
I'm going to make the call now, going John Morrison.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. That would be something.
From everything I've heard, Velveteen Dream is still banged up and not going to be back, which would have been my pick and I thought made the most sense. And, I mean, I could be getting worked here, and maybe he's fine and he's going to be back, which, again, makes the most sense with his history with Undisputed Era, and obviously he'd get a huge reaction returning too. But, yeah, I kind of think they're going to try to spice up the weekend. I mean, it's surely not going to be fucking CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be CM Punk either. But I am slowly talking myself into CM Punk being on Team NXT at Survivor Series for no real reason other than it's Chicago and he returned this week. And yeah, why couldn't they do that? You're talking me into John Morrison a little bit. I'm still just going Velveteen Dream, but I mean, I guess if he's not ready, he's not ready. I don't know who else makes sense for this spot. Gargano, but then if Gargano was cleared, you would have just done
him and Balor.
Yeah, him and Balor, unless he didn't get cleared until the last second. But of course, you're not you got to have a plan going into this match. You're not going to wait till the last second of okay, is Gargano cleared or not? So I'm assuming they have somebody figured out. I'm still going Velveteen Dream, but you've talked me into it potentially being John Morrison now.
Yeah, I think it's a good possibility.
Johnny NXT.
Yes. Yeah, well, it's like he's gonna add to his list of 900 names.
Johnny Next.
I did like when he was working like random indies, and he'd be like Johnny Blackcraft and Johnny Major and just all kind of weird shit, whatever promotion he was fucking working. It's just, but yeah, no, I think it might be because he's reportedly signed. They've held off. They haven't had him on any shows. It's been like radio silence. It's a big weekend, obviously, with Survivor Series and stuff. I mean, he could work the War Games match. He could theoretically then be part of Team NXT the next night on Survivor Series. It'd be a big way to bring him back, and so. But, yeah, again, another match with a ton of possibility. It's one of those that on the surface, I think, it looks like Undisputed Era has all the advantages because they have the War Games experience. They are the unified force. They kind of seem to have all the momentum in the world as they have all the titles. So in that regard, you can easily buy them winning. But I also feel like this show is going to be a big one where the heels get their comeuppances in large part, and that the faces winning set up way more interesting things and title matches coming out of this. So I think Team Ciampa wins as we start the slow build to Ciampa versus Adam Cole.
My issue, I think Undisputed Era has been in all three War Games so far. Yeah. And I think they should be 2-0. I don't think they should have lost last year. like I would have had them. This is me just armchair booking. Like I would have just had like this should have been their match. I'm always a bigger fan of united teams beating, just kind of thrown together teams, even if those thrown together teams have a common goal. And that's why I think the women's face team actually has a very strong claim to beat the women's heels team, because the women's heels team is a thrown together team and not some united group. Undisputed Era, obviously a very united group. And I think if, Undisputed Era had won last year, losing this year would have almost felt like a bigger deal because they would have been 2-0, and then, but Ciampa gets his guys together and he proves like he's a great leader and he's back for a vengeance coming after Adam Cole and just trying to take out all of Undisputed Era, and it just would have felt bigger. Now if Undisputed Era loses, it's like, okay, they're 1-2 in these matches, like some group, like you're supposed to be this dominant group and you just keep getting beaten by these thrown together teams. So I think Undisputed Era should win. I don't think they will win because, especially if like Morrison's coming back, you're probably not beating him on your first night in there. Ciampa, you have no reason to beat him. You can beat Dijakovic and to an extent Keith Lee, but yeah, the face team will probably win. I'm a big believer in just like booking a strong heel group. And I know that's weird to say, okay, they've got all the titles, like they're obviously strong, but I'm a big believer in just like booking a really strong heel group like this to win these multi-man matches, like gimmick matches, like a War Games. And then so when they do finally lose, it feels bigger, but they've already lost. So the face team will probably win.
Fair enough. And I don't totally disagree with you. I would have liked for them to win last year, too. I thought it made more sense. But, because especially if they're on that, 2-year run and then they're champions this year, like you said, if they get beat... excuse me. If they get beat this year, then it does mean more. But unfortunately, I guess they weren't planning a whole year ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, probably not. And I mean, I get that. It's tough to plan a whole year ahead, but at the same time, if this is your dominant heel group, you probably knew you weren't breaking up Undisputed Era anytime soon, so you could have had them win.
Fair enough. So that is NXT TakeOver War Games, which takes place Saturday night, and obviously we'll have reviews up on the site and all that good stuff. And now we have to move on to the Survivor Series, Jeremy, which is going to be slightly trickier since we don't know all the fucking competitors.
Yeah, this will be fun.
But we will do what we can with what we have. Let's start off with the NXT title match. I think we are both going with Pete Dunne, right? Facing Adam Cole?
Yes.
Okay. I will say that I guess the kind of good news is that I think that Pete Dunne is obviously great enough that I think they can create drama in a possible title change. And the other thing is if... Here's the thing that probably won't work, though. If you actually had a good fucking commentary team... Now, Mauro and Nigel can be really good at times, and hopefully they hammer this home. If they would hammer home the fact that Adam Cole just worked a ladder match in War Games and has been working a crazy schedule and faced Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan this month and all this shit, you could tell a good story about him possibly losing the title and being, worn out and injured and all that shit. I just don't have a lot of hope in them doing it. So, I guess hopefully my best shot is that we get a really great 15-minute match here. Because, again, they don't need 30. Just give them 15. Let them do their shit. Probably a great match. Adam Cole retains unless he ends up more banged up than we thought and they pull a last-minute title change.
I think Adam Cole retains as well for those same reasons. And, yeah, unless he is banged up, and if he is, then he probably shouldn't be working all these damn matches in the first place. So I'm gonna assume if he's good enough to work all these matches, he's good enough to not or to retain the title here.
Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt in War Games, because that would be absolutely horrible.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be, I'm very serious. I don't want the guy to get hurt anymore, because they've pushed him schedule wise, man. It's just It's a little risky.
I want the guy to get out of this weekend unscathed and then literally not wrestle again until the NXT takeover whatever Rumble weekend.
Yeah, seriously, I think he's earned some time off.
Yeah.
Next up is a Women's Survivor Series match. This is what we know. Team SmackDown is Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, and Lacey Evans. Team Raw is Charlotte, Natalya, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Sarah Logan. Team NXT is probably Dakota Kai.
Vortex Mystery.
Yeah, Mystery Vortex.
Yeah.
I'd assume Dakota Kai.
I'm thinking it's... I don't know. I'm thinking it's Kai, Ripley, Knox. I think it's the babyface team from WarGames along with Dakota Kai.
I mean, that would make sense. So
that's my best guess.
Yeah. So who do you have winning then?
Sasha Banks.
Team Sasha Banks. Okay.
Yeah. I think Sasha Banks I think Banks and Cross as the survivors.
All right, fair enough. Then next up, Team SmackDown, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Ali, Chad Gable, and King Corbin versus Team Raw, which is Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Ricochet, Kevin Owens, and Drew McIntyre versus Mystery Vortex NXT team.
NXT team is going to be Keith Lee, Ciampa. I think it's again,
and the Forgotten Sons.
And the Forgotten Sons. God. I think it's going to be the babyface Survivor Series team along with CM Punk. I don't know who the fifth guy will end up being. The Triple H thing makes sense even though no one wants it, but after he adamantly denied that he doesn't want that spot, it would look really bad if he ends up in that match. Just the optics of saying, and I get it's pro wrestling, it's a work, you guys lie all the time and stuff, but if you're gonna deny that much, and then even put over NXT is the future, I don't want this stuff, and then come out there and be in the match, it's not a good look. So I don't think it'll be him. I think it'll be the babyface team and Finn Balor. The babyface team, or Matt Riddle. Yeah, why not Matt Riddle? So whoever the babyface team is at Survivor, at Team Ciampa and Matt Riddle. That's my pick.
Yeah, this is going to be a really pain in the ass for me to do a written preview for, by the way. Yeah, that actually sounds good to me. Who is taking the win then?
Jeez. Shorty G is the sole survivor.
Fair enough.
No, I think Team Raw will win. Seth and Team NXT wins. You know what? Fuck it. Team Ciampa is the sole survivor.
I think that Team Raw may win. I think because fucking King Corbin is going to screw Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Team SmackDown, especially if the women's Team SmackDown wins. I haven't done the math on, SmackDown has this many, NXT has this many, Raw has this many. I don't even think they're going to even try to make it equal anyway. They did the 1 year where Raw won everything anyway. So yeah, I haven't done the math to try to figure out who needs to win matches based on who I think is going to win these other matches. NXT is going to win something. I don't think they're going to be completely shut out. This feels like it would be big establishment if they win this match that features Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to see them win the match. I'm not sold on them doing it.
That's why if Triple H is in there, we know they're winning. That's
right.
Why Triple H is going to be in the damn match. He's like, listen, I had to guarantee victory. You all know what I mean.
Next up, AJ Styles versus Roderick Strong versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This one is a match with a wide berth of potential. It could either be perfectly solid and flat, or it could be really great. I think Roddy's excellent. Has been one of the most consistent guys for the last 10 years as far as top tier performances go. AJ can still be great, but I think some of his recent matches have lacked to me. But like I mentioned before, the good news is that when he was working with Riddle in NXT, he seemed to have a fire lit under his ass. And I hope that working with Roddy will kind of bring that fire and motivation back, because they've worked together obviously in the past. Nakamura is a dude. He's living on past accolades, getting by on charisma as he enters early retirement. And yeah, I don't totally blame the guy. He got a nice payday to come over here, but he's just surfing and making money. Hopefully, again, Roddy can light a fire under his ass, because when Nakamura wants to, he can still be good. I think it'd probably be at least good. Kind of looking forward to it. I envision the end doing the big breakdown spot. Roddy hits the end of Heartache on Nakamura, and then Styles dumps him and steals the win. So I'm going with AJ Styles. Just book the match for the company.
Yeah, I think AJ wins as well. I don't know if that's how the finish is going to play out, but I think AJ will win.
I already booked the finish, Jeremy. It's in.
Okay. Hey, and if that's how the finish plays out, then you can take a big old victory lap. Aren't all these guys heels? I just thought about that. Like, aren't all these guys heels? Somebody's got to work baby
Roddy's
somehow.
a face in my heart. Okay, he's fine.
That's fine. Okay, sure. I mean, they're all faces in my heart. I love all three of these guys. I think it'll be good, and I will largely credit Roderick Strong for it being good. Not that AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura are bad. They're obviously not. But Strong is going to come in there, like you said, and he is going to work his ass off. And that, I think, AJ will definitely try to match that level. Nakamura, I don't know where his head is at nowadays. I'm with you that he just feels like, I'm surfing, collecting paychecks. I'm good. So not much surfing going on in Chicago. So maybe he'll be cold and bitter and ready to work as well.
Next up, we have our battle of tag teams, the Viking Raiders versus the New Day versus Undisputed Era. Just going to get this out of the way. I like the New Day, and they usually deliver on pay-per-view. I fucking hate that the Revival got taken out of this match, because I think that was a much stronger match with them in it.
Yeah, I agree. But at least the Revival don't have to lose, because I think they would have lost if they were in this match.
Well, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, I think this will still be really good. It may even be great. And I'm going to actually go with Undisputed Era picking up the win here, pinning the New Day.
Okay. I could see it again. NXT's got to win at some point, I would think, and this match makes sense. I think the New Day are taking the loss as well, because I don't think they want to. I mean, they beat the OC beat the Viking Raiders, so they're not like super into protecting the Viking Raiders anymore, which is kind of a shame. They should have been protected a little bit more. New Day, like they're New Day, they're gonna remain over regardless. Undisputed Era, like they're really rolling, and I wouldn't beat them in this match. So I'm cool with Undisputed Era winning. I think it'll be a good match. Revival, yeah, sure, it probably would have been better with them, but I still think it'll be really good.
Moving on to the women's match, NXT UK excluded, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Shayna Baszler. I do like this match. Think it has a lot of potential, and my fucking computer is throwing up like 18 windows of shit for some reason. Anyway,
you went to PW Insider.
No. My I don't need computer aids. I'm good. But no, I think the best part is they all bring like a different style. Obviously, it's heel heavy with Bayley and Shayna in there. And the thing is, like, they focus so heavily on Becky versus Shayna as the big stars of the match, and I do think it is a big singles match down the line. That leads me to believe that Bayley's going to sneak away with the win somehow to show that she's not the irrelevant one as she's been kind of booked as.
I just figured Bayley's taking the loss here because they're still protecting Shayna. You could have almost a cheap victory on Becky, and Becky will be okay. But I would worry about doing that too often. Like they did it with Asuka and that tag team match, and especially if Becky and Charlotte are going to challenge for the women's tag team titles at the next pay-per-view. Like you really don't want to You really don't want to have Becky losing and this one either. So that's the tough thing about these champion versus champion matches. Like a champion has to lose, and I'm not a fan of just champions losing random matches. And this is certainly a random match. Even if the build has been fine, I figure Bayley's taking the loss though.
All right, well, we shall see what happens. I actually think that like it feels like one of those situations they set up to make you think she's automatically losing. And then they're going to be like, haha, we tricked you, she won. It's kind of how WWE books at times to me, so we'll see. I mean, you may be right.
Sometimes they set it up as she's going to lose or this person's going to lose, and then they just fucking beat them.
Yeah, it's weird. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Next up is The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship, which is now blue. Are we going to get blue lights now?
I hope they just get rid of those fucking lights altogether. I don't know with The Fiend. Like, on one hand, the match should be good because if you have a bad wrestling match with Daniel Bryan, then you should probably just retire. And Bryan even like he had that like Bray Wyatt's only good singles match, however many years ago at the what was it, the Royal Rumble? Yep. Yeah, like that was literally the best Bray Wyatt singles match I can recall. So it's tough to have a bad match with Daniel Bryan. The problem is with this Fiend character. He doesn't sell anything, or he sells it for just a brief period of time. So it's tough to say, like, yeah, this is going to be good because Bryan might just beat the shit out of him and the Fiend will just no sell it all and win. And if it goes on too long, the crowd's going to turn on it. It's, I should be excited for a Daniel Bryan match, and this Fiend thing. It's weird that in August, it was the hottest thing it felt like in wrestling at SummerSlam. And it's November, 3 months later. My math sucks. 3 months later, I just don't care about this dude anymore.
Yeah, these guys do have a history, but the match doesn't have any real build other than they decided they needed something for the Fiend. Because they weren't doing the champions in a triple threat, so they had him attack Daniel Bryan, and I guess the feeling was, we need to give the Fiend a really good match after 2 shitty matches with Seth Rollins. So who better to potentially do that than Daniel Bryan, the guy that gave him his only great singles match in WWE years ago. Unfortunately, it's like, there was no deep planning to this. Because Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan, and I love the guy, but he was not booked in a position to be a world title challenger. And I hate to do this, but I mean, let's look at his last few TV losses to Eric Rowan, Buddy Murphy, and Adam Cole, and he's actually lost 8 of his last 9 matches overall. So
yeah, wins and losses don't matter in WWE.
Well, I don't give a shit. They fucking matter to me, okay? It's like, I'm sure, that's all I'm going to say, but someone's going to tell me that it doesn't matter and it was the plan all along, and if it was, they did a fucking horrible job of setting up Bryan for it. I definitely
don't think it was the plan all along. And then this is WWE's fault, and I'm sorry if it comes off like that. I don't care, but look, that this is what the product has done to me. They've hammered home that wins and losses don't matter. I agree with you. Like it's poor planning that, maybe Daniel Bryan should beat some of these guys if he was about to challenge for the world title, but that shit just doesn't matter in their world. Buddy Murphy beat Daniel Bryan and then was off television for 2 months. So it just, Daniel Bryan got attacked. The Fiend picked him as his next victim. So the Fiend doesn't care about these wins and losses. He's looking for revenge for all those years ago where Bryan infiltrated the Wyatt family. I think in that sense that the story does make sense because they're playing off of that history and the Fiend never forgets and all this stuff. But yeah, to try to quantify this with wins and losses, I'm not saying you're being dumb for it, but it just feels like it's all falling on deaf ears because they don't care about that shit.
Yeah, hopefully Bryan can get a good match here. I mean, if anybody can, it's him. The key will be to create some actual drama because the likelihood of the Fiend losing seems to be absolutely zero. I mean, they're here to put him over more. I feel Bryan can create the drama, but at some point you have to evolve the Fiend past the guy that no-sells 18 finishers and wins. He has to be something else. I think they need to keep this short because I really don't want to see Daniel Bryan hit 25 Busaiku knees just for fucking the Fiend to kick out. And they need to get rid of the red fucking lighting. The Fiend's gonna win, and I just hope it's passable.
Yeah, this is the issue of I'm not excited because the Seth Rollins matches prove that you're just gonna beat the Fiend. Like, it's tough to have a bad match with Daniel Bryan. The problem is Daniel Bryan's at his best when he's like playing an underdog and, you know, fighting back and stuff. But if he's just gonna fight back and none of his shit's gonna be sold and there's really no drama, then what good is this Daniel Bryan match?
It's good shit, pal. That's what Vince will tell you. So moving on to what I guess will be the main event of the night. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio in a no-holds-barred match now, which I do like that change.
I do as well. I think it gives Rey seemingly more of a chance because now he can use a bunch of weapons, and it also makes Brock look like a potentially an even bigger killer because he can use a bunch of weapons. So I like the stipulation, and I'm really looking forward to this match. The build has been great for it. Brock is always good against these smaller guys, and obviously they don't come much smaller than Rey Mysterio. You know, Rey's going to bump his ass off. You know, Brock is going to toss him around, and Brock's going to even, you know, he can sell for Rey, especially with weapons in there as well. I feel like Brock likes working with Rey, and like I don't know any behind the scenes stuff, but Brock is usually very, very willing to work with these smaller guys because he knows that he can just toss them around, sell a little bit, and still come off as a complete monster.
That, and I think to some degree, I mean, Brock does have an ego, and I think he does like going out and having the occasional banger and like working with like Seth and AJ and Bryan and guys like that. He gets to do that, and then he gets to kind of chill and murder people in the meantime like he did to Kofi. So, I mean, I like this match a lot. I think they transitioned into it out of the Kane versus Brock stuff and using the Dominic angle in it and everything. I thought they transitioned to it well. Rey has shown some really great fire and cut some really good promos during this. The attack with the pipe and stuff was well done, taking out Brock's knee. I like the transition to a no-holds-barred, no DQ match because if played correctly, this could be really great because Brock is obviously a tremendous bully. Rey is always over despite the booking and is an all-time great babyface. I don't see Rey winning because it's like they just put the title on Brock and all that, but like at the end of the day, I think they could have a really great match here if they tell the right story, and I kind of think they will because Heyman is going to lay this match out. This is going to be a heavily influenced Heyman match, and not only does he try to do everything he can to present Brock the best, but Paul also has a ton of respect for Rey. So I think that we're going to get some potentially great stuff here. I'm actually very much looking forward to it. I have Brock retaining.
I have Brock retaining as well, but I wouldn't be shocked if Rey honestly wins. Like Kane comes out, Dominic comes out.
That's fair.
Yeah, like I think you could possibly pull this off to Rey wins. He's probably not going to hold the title very long or anything, but I could see Rey winning. I don't think this is just a straightforward Brock wins next challenger. I could definitely see Rey winning.
I think it's fair, dude. I didn't really think about it as much with the people getting involved, but like that could very well play out well, and that does add another dynamic to it. And even if he loses, they could do the everybody tries to run in to kill the beast thing and just have that as a late part of the match. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, very much looking forward to Brock versus Rey.
Yeah, it's probably the match I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah. So Survivor Series, like it's weird. I don't give a fuck about the stupid brand supremacy shit. But I am slightly more excited for the show than normal because of the NXT involvement. because it feels a little bit fresh and everything. I wish there were some stakes put on it. I've heard people come up with all kinds of stuff, like, trying to do, like, title unification stuff and bullshit like that. And there was another one, someone said, like, the winning brand, like, whoever wins the most matches at Survivor Series, their brand gets, like, the last 3 to 5 spots in the Royal Rumble draw. Just something to, like, add some kind of drama and stakes to it, which I would enjoy. I don't know what the exact answer is, but I would enjoy that more versus T-Shirt Wars 2019.
Yeah, Corey Graves has said it. Ember Moon has said it. Like, you have people in the company, like, saying attach stakes to this, and for some reason, like, they just don't do it, and I don't know why. I'm with you. Just, like, give that brand the last spot in the Royal Rumble. Give them, they get the big title match at WrestleMania. I think just the Royal Rumble spots would be better, and, like, it's something. And then all these people competing have a reason to really care about this. Like, oh, if I win this match for my brand, there's a chance that I could get the 30th spot in the Royal Rumble. That gives me the best shot at winning and going to WrestleMania and whatever. Like, otherwise it's just, we're just brand supremacy. Like, Corey Graves really took him to kind of task over this. Is like, does anybody associate with a brand? Like, honestly, does anybody, like, do you have a Team Raw shirt that you wear out like it's your favorite football team or something like that? Like, oh, I fucking hate SmackDown and NXT. Like, I'm Team Raw. Like, no one thinks about it like that. There is no brand support. Like, no one cares about that stuff. Fans don't care about that stuff. Give stakes that are, tangible and something that matters.
Yeah, it would be nice. And again, it's not like we're not asking for them to reinvent the fucking wheel. We're just asking for a viable reason to care about this show. Yeah, it's because, like, brand supremacy doesn't do jack shit for anybody. Seriously, it's T-Shirt Wars. Yeah, so I'm kind of over it, but I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking forward to it more than I do most years, and I think it will be hopefully a good show. I think WarGames will probably be a great show because takeovers pretty much always deliver. So a good weekend on tap, I think, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, it should be really good. I mean, takeover's always good. Survivor Series, it can be hit and miss, I guess, but like many WWE pay-per-views. But the inclusion of NXT makes it feel a little bit different. So yeah, it should be another fun weekend. Survivor Series will probably be a little bit too long, but Takeover will be awesome.
Yeah. So that will wrap us up for today. I want to thank everybody for listening. This is the 411 on Wrestling podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Please make sure to subscribe and share the show around. Follow us and all that good stuff. Leave us a 5-star review. Jeremy, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
Everyone go to Fightful.com and read the oral history of Soul Train Jones. I talked with Sammy Guevara, Proud and Powerful, Chris Jericho, Britt Baker, Hangman Page, Joey Janela. Joey Janela was the one who brought Soul Train Jones to AEW. He's the only person who has Virgil's number still, which shouldn't shock anybody. It was really fun to do. So I'm really proud of that piece, and I hate pretty much everything I do, but I liked that one. And you follow me on Twitter.
You do kind of hate everything you do, so I'm glad that you like that.
Dude, I literally hate like 99% of what I write. Like I think I'm good at what I do. I take a lot of pride in my work, but I still hate 99% of what I churn out. This was one where I had a lot of fun, and and anytime I can be, you know me, anytime I can be like super wacky with stuff, that's where I feel like I produce my best work. And this, obviously, asking everyone about Soul Train Jones was super wacky. So yeah, it was good. And yeah, so everyone check that out if you want, please.
Sounds fantastic. So that'll wrap us up for today. Again, thank you guys. Have a good week.